Welcome to Monday, September 28th, 2020. Well, the weather changed up quite a bit over the weekend with that cold front that came in late Saturday night and Sunday. This is going to set us up under a northwesterly flow under high pressure coming in behind it. So what this means is that it's going to be cooler and it's going to be more like it should be for late September heading into early October. We're not going to be nearly as warm as we've been. This is going to be especially true east of the Continental Divide. West of the Divide, you're still going to be warmer, a little bit above average with temperatures still, but east of the Divide, it'll be more fallish. The nights will be colder. The days won't be as warm. Also, this change in the weather pattern is going to result in less smoke. Now, we still got forest fires burning, some very strongly still in southern Wyoming and northern Colorado, so we're still going to have to deal with the smoke at times. But the smoke from the West Coast fires for a good part of this week aren't going to be around because of this change in the upper level wind flow. So that means sunny days, that means clear nights, some wind, but not a lot of wind, certainly not the wind like we had last weekend over parts of the weekend. Rain, snow chances for the next 10 days are almost zero. We see very little chance of any moisture anywhere close for 7 to 10 days. Now after that, I think that'll change, but there's nothing coming. So this is going to be your classic fall weather we get sometimes around here where it's actually very nice. Let's take a look at the upper level pattern. High pressure is anchored over Oregon and Northern California. That helped build that trough that pushed it on through the region over the weekend. That's a pretty sizable trough that's coming into the nation's midsection. You can see the wind barbs are all coming in from the north, even into areas west of the Divide today. So this is going to certainly lead to a cooler pattern. And also, the air's coming from up here, not from the West Coast fires. So that's going to lead to clearer air. By Thursday, well, the high pressure ridge is still over Oregon. We still have northerly wind flow into the area. By Saturday, there's really no change. High pressure remains anchored. Winds aloft are from the northwest. So this is not going to allow it to get real warm, but have temperatures closer to average. Also cut down on that West Coast smoke and haze. But this is not a pattern that's going to make it wet. It's just not a good pattern to get any precipitation going here in the western United States. All of the cool, wet weather is going to be more directed towards the nation's midsection through this weekend. And this is what it looks like. This is through Sunday. The precipitation forecast is almost non-existent. Now, closer to that trough, there's going to be some showers off to our east, but well to our east. These showers over Colorado's mountains are mainly going to be what was left over from the front that came through yesterday and last night. Nothing else in the western United States. Now, as we get further out, we do see some changes. The high pressure ridge retrogrades from Oregon and pushes back out into the Pacific and up towards more of the Gulf of Alaska region. If that happens, this will be around the weekend of the 10th and the 11th. That's going to be our next chance of colder, wet weather. But it may not be until then. So we're talking about something that could be 12, 14 days away before we see a pattern back to cooler conditions that could bring colder, wet conditions that we really need to help out with the fires. But at least the pattern has changed a little bit, that it will be cooler and not as windy, especially those nights. You're going to notice those nights a lot colder here in the coming days with comfortably mild, dry, sunny conditions during the daylight hours. Here's a quick update on La Niña. It keeps getting further and further west. Look how far west it is now. Those cooler than normal sea surface temperatures out in the subtropical Pacific. So we're starting to get ourselves into a moderately strong textbook La Niña that formed this spring and is now going to keep its integrity into the fall and winter seasons. But notice the contrast of the cooler with the warmer, and this is going to lead to some really interesting weather conditions as we get into late fall and early winter, because when we build up these warm sea surface temperatures up here in the North Pacific and you have a contrast with those colder conditions there, it's going to make for a really strong jet stream pattern, and that's typical in La Niñas to form up here late fall and early winter. This warm pocket of warmth here in the Gulf of Alaska also wants to make, more often than not, high pressure form in late fall and early winter, which is going to send some colder weather into the United States later in October and into November, just a matter of time. We'll have to see what happens with these warmer water temperatures in the course of the next few weeks ahead. These colder temperatures here are going to be persisting into at least the early months of 2021. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast. Have a good Monday. We'll see you on Tuesday.